My best friend of 9 years took my grandmother's earrings and told me she'd borrowed them. The distinction matters to her. I've been thinking about why. Priya and I met in college, became inseparable in the way of people who find each other during the specific chaos of being 18 and away from home for the first time. We have 9 years of history, moves and breakups and job losses, and the particular 2am phone calls that you only make to 1 or 2 people in your life. She has been one of mine. She's always loved my things. I don't mean that as a criticism, just as a fact I've observed over 9 years. She has good taste and a sharp eye, and she can walk into a room and immediately identify the most beautiful object in it. I've always found that quality charming. When this past tense, I realize now. The earrings were my grandmother's. Small garnets in an antique gold setting, the kind of thing that doesn't photograph well but looks exactly right in person. My grandmother gave them to me 6 months before she died. I wear them for things that matter. Priya came to stay for a long weekend in November. She'd been going through something hard and I wanted to help, which meant cooking and wine and letting her talk for as long as she needed to. She saw the earrings on my dresser Friday night and said, "Oh, those are gorgeous. Can I wear them out tomorrow?" I said yes because they're earrings and she's my best friend, and I said be careful with them. She wore them Saturday. She was wearing them when I hugged her goodbye Sunday morning. She was not wearing them when she texted me from the airport. I texted back and said, "Hey, did you accidentally take my grandmother's earrings?" The accidental was doing a lot of work in that sentence. I was giving her a story that made the next part easier. She said, "Oh God, I think they're in my bag. I'll send them when I get home." I said, "Those were my grandmother's. Please send them right away." She said, "Of course, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot I had them on." I said, "Okay." I believed her because I always believed her. Because 9 years of 2am phone calls builds a specific kind of faith that isn't easy to revise. 2 weeks passed. I texted asking about the earrings. She said she'd been meaning to send them. She said she'd do it this week. I said thank you. Another week. I called. She said she'd been busy. Things had been hard. She hadn't forgotten. She'd send them soon. I said I understood things were hard. I said I really needed those back. She said she knew. She would. She was sorry. I waited. I'm a person who waits. I've been told this is a virtue and I've been told it's a flaw, and I think it's both depending on the situation. Another 2 weeks. I called again. She said she hadn't been able to find them. I sat with that sentence. I said, "What do you mean you haven't been able to find them?" She said she thought they might be in a box from when she'd rearranged her jewelry. She said she'd look this weekend. I said, "Priya, those were my grandmother's earrings. I need you to find them." She said she knew and she was sorry and she would look. I got off the phone and sat in my living room and thought about what I was actually dealing with. Not lost earrings, not a busy friend in a hard season. What I was dealing with was someone who had been telling me for 5 weeks that she would do something she hadn't done and wasn't doing. I thought about the texture of her excuses, how each one was reasonable individually. How together they made a pattern I recognized because I'd been watching it form for 9 years and excusing it as personality. She takes things, not always objects, sometimes time, sometimes attention, sometimes the version of events where she's the protagonist and everyone else is context. I've always been context. I texted her. I said I need you to understand that those earrings are irreplaceable, and I'd like you to either find them or replace them, or be honest with me about what happened to them. She said, "I can't believe you're accusing me of stealing." I said, "I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm telling you that 5 weeks have passed and you haven't sent them, and I need this resolved." And she said I was being hurtful when she was already struggling. I sat with that one for a while too. Here is what I've learned about a certain kind of person. When you're generous, they receive it as their due. When you ask for something back, you become the problem. The asking is the wound they'll reference, not the taking. Never the taking. Told her I needed the earrings or their value, and that after that I needed space. She said I was abandoning her when she needed me. I said I've been here for 9 years. I'm asking for my grandmother's earrings. She hasn't responded. I keep looking at my dresser where they used to be. The small absence of them. 9 years is 9 years. I know how to grieve it. I've been practicing for 5 weeks without knowing that's what I was doing. But I want those earrings back. I want them back more than I want to pretend this didn't tell me exactly what it told me.